planet Corel 5 was dying. Ashes floated in the air. Buildings stood like broken teeth, half buried under snow and smoke. Fires burned in the distance. The war between the Krevan Empire and humanity had turned the once green world into a graveyard. A scout of the Krevan Empire moved carefully through the ruins. His breathing mask hissed quietly. His clawed fingers gripped a plasma rifle. He wasn't looking for enemies. He was looking for survivors. Behind him, the sky cracked with the sound of retreating human ships. The battle was over. The Krevan had won again. Or so they thought. Trell stepped over the body of a fallen drone. It still sparked weakly. He glanced around. Something didn't feel right. Then he heard it, a sound soft, weak, like a whisper. He froze. Slowly, he turned. Toward a collapsed structure. A faint cry came again. Not a machine, not a KRE-Vion. It was human. Trell's instincts screamed, leave, call it in, kill if needed. But something inside him pulled him forward. He pushed away the broken metal sheets. Beneath the rubble, wrapped in a torn emergency blanket, was a small human child. A girl, maybe 5 years old. Her face was covered in ash, but her eyes stared at him without fear. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just whispered, help. Please. Trell stood still for a moment. Then he looked up, checking for cameras. No one was watching. His squad was far ahead. He was alone, one human child, one order, eliminate all human resistance. And yet he knelt. Without saying a word, he pulled a thermal patch from his belt and placed it over the girl's chest. Her breathing grew stronger. He gave her water from his supply. She drank silently. Why are you here? He asked. My mum ran, she whispered, told me to hide. I waited, then the building fell. Trell looked at the sky. Human ships were gone. No signals. No rescue coming. But maybe, he checked his wrist pad. There was a forgotten frequency and old human emergency line. He activated it and sent a short message. Human child alive. Civilian, non-hostile. Coordinates attached. He closed the channel and waited. Minutes passed. He stayed hidden beside the rubble, watching the sky, then dash movement. A human shuttle appeared above the clouds, low and fast. It didn't land. It hovered and dropped a rescue pod. Trell carried the girl to it. She looked at him with tired eyes. Are you bad? She asked. He paused, then shook his head. No, not today. She smiled weakly. Thank you. She was pulled into the pod. The hatch closed. In seconds, it launched upward and vanished. Trell stood there for a long moment. He had just helped. The enemy, if his empire found out, he would be executed. No trial, no mercy. But he felt calm. He covered the area with rubble to hide any signs. Then he walked away. Far above, the stars blinked coldly. Later that night, back in his barracks, Trell sat alone. No one knew what he had done. He told no one, not even his closest friend. He tried to forget, and for 30 years he did, until one day a signal echoed through the empire. A recording, a broken, distorted message from long ago, to the one who showed mercy. We remember, the signal repeated, again and again, on every Krevan channel, in every language. Trell froze. His hands trembled. He thought he had erased the evidence, but someone had kept it. Someone remembered, and now they were coming back. Trell was now old. His armor didn't fit like it used to. His claws had dulled. His back hurt when he stood for too long. He didn't go to war anymore, just sat in a dusty post on a quiet Kreven station near the edge of the Empire. For years, he had watched the stars in silence. Nothing ever came, but that changed in 1 second. It started with a sound, a soft chime, a forgotten one. The alert tone from the Kreven War archives, used only for classified war footage. He turned slowly toward the screen on the wall. Incoming transmission, archive. ID hashtag Delta-731. His blood ran cold. That was his mission, ID from Kirel 5, the dying world. The place where he saved the human girl. He hadn't heard that code in 3 decades. He pressed the screen with a shaky claw. The footage began to play. Rain, rubble, the broken city, and there he was on screen kneeling next to a small human child. Her whisper echoed in the room. Help, please. Trell's own voice answered from the past. No, not today. Then came the message. To the one who showed mercy, we remember. The footage ended. Trell stared at the screen. He couldn't breathe. He thought he had erased that message, hidden it forever. How had someone found it? Why now, moments later? The doors burst open. Kreven soldiers rushed in. Commander Trell, the officer said, you are under arrest for treason and unauthorized contact with the enemy. Before he could speak, they grabbed his arms and dragged him through the halls of the station. Other officers stared as he passed. Some looked confused, some disgusted. No one defended him. He was taken to a prison cell deep, beneath the surface, cold, silent, dark. For the first time in years, he was truly alone. He sat in the corner and waited. Meanwhile, on the Kreven homeworld, the footage had already spread. The message replayed again and again across every channel, every sector. It reached the Kreven High Command. The Empress herself watched in silence. This is old, one general said. The war is long over. Another added, the humans are quiet now. But this is a signal, a warning. But it wasn't just a warning. The real warning came only hours later. Above the Kreven moon, a strange vessel appeared. Massive, silent, unlike anything seen before. It was not marked with any known human military symbol. It did not respond to calls, but it broadcast one clear message on every frequency. Release him. He is under our protection. Back in the prison cell, Trell sat with his eyes closed. He expected death, or torture, maybe even silence forever. But instead he felt the floor shake. The lights flickered. Then a voice echoed through the prison speakers. Trell of Kreven, you are no longer alone. The walls lit up with soft blue light. The door unlocked, itself with a hiss, and there she stood. Not a soldier, not an assassin, a woman human. She wore armor that shimmered like light and shadow. Her eyes glowed faintly with golden lines, part human, part something more. She looked at him gently. It's been a long time, she said. Trell stared. It was her, the girl from Kirel 5, grown up, alive, and changed. Their conversation, who are you now? He asked. My name is Aris, she said. Leader of the Ascended Pact, a new branch of humanity. We remember everyone who showed us mercy, especially the first. Trell sat slowly on the bench. You should not be here, he whispered. They will kill you. She smiled softly. They can try. He shook his head. Why now, after all these years? Aris stepped closer. Because we watched, we waited, and we saw what your empire became. Cold, proud, violent. But you were different. I was a scared child once, she added. And you saved me. One small act, one choice. That choice changed everything. Outside the prison, alarms blared. Kreven fighters launched toward the strange ship in orbit. They never reached it. The ship disappeared, then reappeared above the Kreven capital. It hovered, silent, not firing, not attacking, but the sky changed color. The stars behind it seemed to bend. The Krevens panicked. The Empress demanded answers. One final message appeared across every screen in the Empire. You owe a debt, and we have returned for war, but for what was promised. Inside the prison, Eris held out her hand. Trell, she said, come with me. He took her hand, and everything he knew began to change. The Kraven capital was no longer quiet. Ships flew in panic above the city. Sirens echoed through every tower. The Empress ordered full lockdown. No one could enter. No one could leave. But it was already too late. The giant ship in the sky didn't move. It didn't fire. It didn't respond to threats. It simply hovered, watching the strange part. Every Kreven weapon locked onto the ship. Failed missiles refused to launch. Targeting systems glitched. Fighters shut down mid-dash flight. No one understood how. Nothing could touch it. Nothing dared, and deep below. In the prison's lower levels, Trell walked freely, beside Arista. Girl he once saved, now something more. Inside the city's court, the streets were empty. As they moved, the walls shifted. Metal doors opened by themselves. Lights followed their steps. Eris didn't carry a weapon. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. The system obeyed her. Trell, she said softly, your empire is afraid, but they don't understand why. He looked at her. What are you? She paused, then answered, I'm human, and I'm not. When you saved me, I was just a girl. But later, I was found by something ancient, something Earth once feared, then embraced. He didn't understand, but he nodded anyway. You became more, he asked. I became what humanity needed. Something new, something unbreakable. The Hall of Commanders, Eris and Trell, entered the Kreven Council Hall. Soldiers raised their weapons, then froze. Their hands trembled. Their targeting visors glitched. Their armor began to vibrate. Then it simply shut down. Every suit powered off. Guns dropped, one by one. Soldiers stepped aside. No one gave the order. They just knew she could not be stopped. The High Command stood in silence. The Empress herself, draped in gold and bone armor, stared at Eris. You break into my world, she said, and think we will kneel. Eris looked at her calmly. No, she replied. I came to offer a choice. The offer Trell once saved me. He disobeyed your law. He showed mercy when you demanded blood. Eris turned to face the generals. For that act, you punished him. The Empress growled. He betrayed his kind. No, Eris replied. He proved your kind still had hope. She stepped forward. And now, we return not for revenge, but for justice. A glowing sigil appeared in the air beside her, floating like light. This is a binding agreement, she continued. Give Trell freedom. Give him voice. Make him your ambassador. Let him guide you to peace. One general shouted, and if we don't, the sigil pulsed. Then you will face what follows when humanity is disappointed. Backroom discussion. The Empress met with her inner circle. Fear filled the room. "We cannot fight them," one said. "Our weapons fail." "Do we kneel?" another asked. "No," the Empress growled. "We choose the path that keeps us alive." She returned to the hall and stood before Eris. "We accept your terms, but only if you leave our world." Eris nodded. "We never wanted your world, only his freedom." Trell's released rule stood beside Eris, confused and overwhelmed. "You could have destroyed them," he said. Eris replied, "Why destroy when one act of kindness built all this?" He asked quietly, "And what is all this?" Eris smiled. "Come," she said. "Let me show you." Outside the palace, the sky opened. The massive ship above the city shimmered and split into 5 smaller vessels. Each one pulsed with golden energy. They hovered silently, surrounding the planet knot in attack formation. But like guardians, Trell and Eris stepped aboard the main ship. As the doors closed behind them, Crevens across the Empire watched in silence. For the first time, the Empire saw something they couldn't label as enemy or ally. They saw something else, a force beyond logic. A force that remembered kindness, and Trell once forgotten, had become the bridge between 2 worlds. The ship rose slowly above the Creven capital. Inside, the walls shimmered with soft golden light. The corridors had no sharp edges, no metal plates. Everything looked alive-grown, not built. Trell walked beside Eris, still unsure if he was awake or dreaming. "This ship," he said, "it's not just human." "Is it?" Eris smiled gently. "It's part human, part machine, and part something older." He stopped walking. "Older than Earth." She nodded. "Yes. When Earth reached the stars, it found ruins from a race long gone. We studied them. We rebuilt their forgotten tech. And then we made it ours." Terrell looked out a large transparent wall. From here, the Creven capital looked small, helpless, and yet, this powerful ship had not fired a single shot. "You could have destroyed them," he whispered. Aeris answered softly, "We don't repay kindness with fire." The packed room she led him into a chamber filled with light. 10 figures sat in a circle. Some looked human, others wore strange masks. A few had no faces at all, only glowing shapes where eyes should be. Eris stood in the center. "This is the Ascended Pact," she said. "Each one of us was once saved by someone or something. Kindness is rare. When we find it, we protect it, we reward it." Trell looked at the faces. Some bowed their heads toward him. Others simply watched. One voice spoke, deep and calm. "He changed the path of a human child. Now the child changes the path of an empire." Eris turned to Trell. "We want to offer you a place, as a link between worlds, back on the Creven homeworld." The Empress watched the skies. Her empire was silent, her people terrified. They didn't understand what had happened. One moment, they had control. The next, all their weapons failed. Their power meant nothing. Some generals whispered of surrender, others spoke of rebellion. But one voice rose above the rest. General Fecker, he was older than most. Cold, angry, and dangerous. "They want us to follow a traitor," he shouted. "A Creven who saved a human child." He slammed his fist on the table. "No, I will not bow." And in secret, he activated a forbidden signal. One not used in over 100 years. A beacon. A call to an ancient ally of the Crevens. one that hated humans more than anything. Eris and Trell, the decision in the ship. Trell stood in silence. "You want me to be a voice of peace?" he asked. "I don't know how." Eris stepped closer. "You already are. You showed me that one act can echo through time. You taught me that even in war, mercy is possible." Trell lowered his head. "But my people, they won't listen to me." "They will," she said. "Because if they don't, they'll face something worse." He frowned. "You're threatening them." "No," she answered. "I'm warning them, because something is coming, and it won't offer peace." Trell's eyes narrowed. "You mean?" Eris nodded. "One of your generals sent a call. We intercepted it." He called the Drekka. Trell stepped back, stunned. "The Drekka were banished," he said. "Even we feared them." "They are coming," Iris replied. "And we have one choice: stand together, or fall apart." The Drekka arrival in deep space. Something opened. Not a ship, not a wormhole, a wound. From that wound, the Drekka came. They didn't fly. They swam through space, living ships with mouths, teeth, and claws. Their bodies leaked black mist. Their signals were screams. They did not send a message. They simply devoured the first Krevan outpost they found. No warning, no survivors. One word appeared on all Krevan screens: "We heard your call." The response panic spread in the Krevan Empire. General Veka tried to command, but no one listened. The Drekka moved too fast, too wild. Krevan weapons failed. Shields cracked. Cities began to fall. The Empress sent a single message: "Ascended Pact. Help us. We accept Trell. We beg for protection." Inside the ship, Trell looked at Eris. "Can we stop them?" he asked. She nodded once. Together, she raised her hand. The ship responded instantly. Lights flared. Engines roared. Across the sky, dozens of other ships arrived, silent and gold, shaped like wings and stars. Each one from a different part of space. Each one tied to the Ascended Pact. Trell stood tall, no longer a prisoner, no longer forgotten. He looked down at his homeworld, under attack, and he whispered, "This time, I return not alone." The skies above Krevan burned. Drekka ships tore through the upper atmosphere like falling nightmares. They didn't fire missiles or lasers, they fed. Their bodies melted shields. Their tendrils pulled entire defense stations into their black cores. The Krevan military collapsed in hours. Trell stood inside the command bridge of Aris's ship, watching it unfold on the holomap. Entire cities were disappearing. Whole planets were going dark. Eris walked beside him, calm, but not silent. "This is why we warned them," she said. "The Drekka don't talk. They erase." Trell looked down at his trembling claws. "Can we stop them?" Eris nodded. "Yes, but not with fear. Not with hate." He looked at her, confused. "Then with what?" She smiled gently. "With what you gave me once." The Ascended unleashed. The golden ships of the Ascended Pact moved together like birds in the wind. They didn't launch missiles. They released pulses, waves of light, color, and song. The Drekka screamed. Some twisted. Some exploded in place. Some fled. It wasn't just power. It wasn't just power. It was memory, Aris explained. Our ships carry the echoes of mercy, of love, of unity. The Drekka are ancient hatred made alive. They cannot live where hope is strong. The skies of Krevan began to shift. Light returned, but the war was far from over. One massive Drekka, the largest, descended toward the capital. It had swallowed moons. Its shadow stretched across continents. This one is old, Eris whispered. Too old to fear light. Trell stepped forward. Then let me face it. The final mission Trell boarded a small strike pod. Eris joined him, against his protest. This is my world, he said. I should face it alone. No, she replied. You faced your empire alone once, but not this time, never again. They launched together. The pod flew straight into the mouth of the great Drekker. Inside was chaos. Screams of past victims echoed through the black walls. Trell saw twisted remain ships, creatures, even Krevenzel, crushed and absorbed. The ship trembled as it fought to resist, but Eris placed her hand on the wall. Golden lines spread. We're not here to destroy, she whispered. We're here to remind it what it used to be. The heart of darkness at the center of the beast. They found its core pulsing. Black sphere, alive, angry, it lashed out. Tentacles slammed into the pod. The hull cracked. Trell jumped in. Front of Eris shielding her. His armor shattered. Blood ran down his face. But he stood. You want fear, he roared. Then you chose the wrong species to challenge. Eris reached out and touched the core. A memory flowed into it. A little girl hiding in rubble. A dying world and one alien. Who saved her? The memory exploded like a star. The Drekker shook violently, and then it screamed, not in hunger, but in remorse. The transformation outside, the Drekker stopped attacking. Its body shimmered. Dark matter turned silver. Tentacles retreated. Its form shrank. Kreven ships watched. Stunned, the creature, once a god of destruction, was changing, and then it was gone. Not dead, transformed. The last of the Drekker had remembered what it once was, before hatred, before fear. A being of peace. Returned to the surface. The pod returned to the Kreven capital. Trell stepped out first, wounded but alive. Eris followed, glowing softly, helping him walk. The Empress stood at the palace gates. She knelt. My people owe you everything, she said. You saved us. Trell shook his head. No, she saved us. I just did what was right, Eris added. Now you must continue what he started, choose a new path. And they did, years. Later, the Kreven Empire became something new. Trell served as ambassador between species. His name was spoken on Earth, on Kreven, and in every system that remembered the war. Eris returned to the stars, leading the Ascended Pact, protecting kindness wherever it was found. Some called them heroes, others called them myths, but all knew one. Truth, mercy changed the galaxy.